Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Toronto, the A&E Senior Staff Writer for the Rebel Yell and from ChasingCinema.com. Today I have an incredibly special guest, Mr. Rob Thompson, the directing animator of The Good Dinosaur, the new film from Disney and Pixar.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to interview. You are here because you are doing a behind-the-scenes presentation on campus in just a little bit. So tell me how that's been, doing these interacting with students and people who are going through a film department at their universities to learn about what you're doing.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Not too long ago I was at college, and I have a lot of fond memories of being a student. And yeah, it's been really great to just be around the students and just see what they're working on and see how excited they are to see The Good Dinosaur and see what I've been working on. Yeah, it's good to be around students who are really excited about it.
Absolutely. So, did you always want to be an animator? Or was that something that you really wanted to do very early on? I mean, was there an animation film that you said, I want to do that?
I guess when I was a kid, whenever cartoons would come on, I knew at an early age who Chuck Jones was. And if I was watching cartoons and it didn't say Chuck Jones in the beginning of it, I'd turn the channel. Okay. And so I from a very early age, I really enjoyed just animation. I love the Disney movies, and so I was always like to draw. I just drew all the time, and I just kind of fell into getting into animation. I was at a junior college in San Diego, and I ended up just in a computer lab that I was in a Photoshop class that shared the computers with an animation class, and so I started messing around, and one day my sister came home with a catalog for this college in Orange County that had an animation program that Chuck Jones was a professor emeritus at, and I was just like, wow, there's something here, and it just kind of fell into it, and then next thing I knew I was at Pixar. So yeah, I always wanted to do something artistic, and I always liked to draw, and then this seemed like it made sense because you could just do 1,000 drawings that you didn't have to finish as much, and you could make something move. So you actually started interning at Pixar in 2005, and yeah. What was it like being an intern there? Were you like, this is definitely where I want to spend, my career and work on films that they're producing? Because at that point, you must have seen Toy Story and a lot of their classics. Right. Yeah. Oh man, I was so excited to start there, and it was just kind of unbelievable being a part of that and seeing the department and how the movies are made, and it's great. Like going there, just making friends. There's 4 of us in the internship. And so we just hung out all the time. We worked really hard. We, just put everything we could into it, and I was really excited when I got hired there in 2005. So, and then 2 years later, you'd work on your first film, Ratatouille. And right. So how was that? I mean, that is honestly personally one of my favorites of the Pixar films. So how was it like working on that? Oh, it was amazing. I mean, when I was in school, Incredibles came out. And that was mind blowing, and to be able to work with Brad Bird, you just coming to Pixar, I was like, oh, this is amazing, but I'm not going to work with Brad Bird for who knows how long. So that was my first movie that I worked on, and getting to spend time in dailies with him and have him critique your work, and you learn so much, and it was just really, I was just really lucky. I was really fortunate. And I learned a ton, and I think that that really helped me. All the stuff I learned working on that film with Brad and the directing animators, it was awesome. It was too good to be true.
You would work on Cars 2, as well as WALL-E and Up and Brave, but the one I want to talk about is Toy Story 3. Because you must have seen the first and second, and like so many of us, we kind of grew up watching that in our first introduction to Pixar. How was it like to work on the third film in that?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, a lot of the stuff I'd done before that, they were all original films, and so you're kind of learning who these characters are through the the discovery phase of when you first get shots and people are testing out the characters. But it's another challenge to animate Buzz and Woody because everybody knows who they are, and so there's a specific way that they have to move, that they have to act, and so instead of trying to pioneer something or trying to figure something out. You're trying to stay true to this franchise that is so amazing. It's probably like animating Mickey Mouse. Like there's a lot of rules that go into to making him on model and appealing and just true to history. So that was the challenge. That was hard. It takes a couple months for everybody, but once you get into it, it's a really fun world to be in because they're a toy. So you can you don't have to be animating heavy, which can is very challenging in itself. But you can just have fun being this.
Their movement's a lot different.
Doll. Yeah, exactly.
So you're working as directing animator on The Good Dinosaur, which is going to be hitting theaters November 25th of this year. And for those who aren't familiar with a directing animator, you are in charge of different animating teams to making sure that they are all working their best to get the director's vision proper. So what's it like kind of manning all these different teams and all these different people to bring one idea to fruition?
Yeah, so there's a supervising animator, and then there was 3 directing animators, and we work under him. We all work together. We're all in the same dailies with the entire animation crew. So our whole day, we start off in this room with the director, and we're all watching, people showing shots. All the animators are showing their work and getting feedback from the director. And then the directing animators, the supervisor, we're all sitting there and we're listening to everything, so we know exactly what the director wants. And then if the animators have any questions or any, if we see something that they want feedback on and they want to make sure to clarify this is what the director wanted, then that's our job to help them. Or if they have a different idea, like, can you help me make this clear? It's not what they asked for. I did that too, but I want to present something else. And also we do a lot of problem solving. Animation is, you're pretty much solving a puzzle every shot. And we had I think around 86 animators on our team, and so everybody has their own puzzle. And so we're, as the directing animators and the supervisor, we're just if someone runs into something, we try to help them to get what they need, whether it's something's broken in their shot, or they need something from another department, or clarification on a note, or you have a lot of people that are just starting at the studio, and they maybe they need they have questions of how can I make my animation better. And so it's all really fun stuff. Every day is kind of different as a directing animator.
So The Good Dinosaur has kind of had a long journey to finally come out. So when did you actually start working on this film to completion? How long was it?
I started on The Good Dinosaur in 2011, I believe. It was right after Cars 2. And so between then, they did some story changes, and so they put our team kind of on hold while they went back to story. And then I did some, I worked on Inside Out promo, and I just helped out where I could. And then when we started production of The Good Dinosaur again, it's probably about 2 years from when we got back on track until we completed the film. And that was probably about over a year of pre-production, where we're building all the models and putting the rigs in them and making sure everything's going to work for our team. And then I think we animated the film in about 7 months, 6 or 7 months.
My last question for you, and again, thank you so much for coming out.
Sure.
Is more of just kind of a theme going on in Pixar films, is that I've found that most Pixar films are around a dynamic relationship between two opposites, Woody and Buzz. You have Russell and Carl, and even in Inside Out we have sadness and joy. In this film we have a dinosaur and a young boy. Why do you think that that's always a strong message in Pixar films? Yeah,
I think, there's a personal relationship like with friendship. And this movie is definitely a movie about friendship, and our main character is someone who's fearful and has a lot of self-doubt and is not confident. But it's not until he meets Spot that he realizes he can do more than he thought before. And I think it's like this. It's like in science, you have two elements coming together and you get a reaction. And I think there's something magical about that. It's true. Yeah, there is kind of, I never really thought about that. I think we kind of set off to tell the story, and you have characters that bring things out of each other. And I think it's so nice to see two characters play on each other and how one can affect the other for the better. And I think that's why people like those stories.
Well, make sure to see the new dynamic relationship in The Good Dinosaur on November 25th. I want to thank Rob Thompson so much for taking the time out to do this interview. Make sure to go see The Good Dinosaur, guys. I can't wait. And thanks so much for tuning in.
Thanks.